fact that we never gave up. I mean, that really, really resonated with the governor. And I actually met with him this afternoon as part of a roundtable discussion for educators all across Southwest Virginia. And he pulled me to the side during that event and shared those things. Now, I mean, I know we heard what he said in his speech today, but he was really impressed and even mentioned Bristol's board as being a model for how boards and school boards across the Commonwealth should get things done. So congratulations to you guys, and it's a big day for us, but an even bigger day for our students. We're truly going to level the playing field for our kids in the future and provide opportunities to them that students in affluent communities only have now. So I'm thrilled about getting work. The hard work begins now, but I'm really excited. We also, in the governor's remarks, one of the things that he mentioned was, I think he pulled this part of it out of his remarks. They shared those with me ahead of time. But he was so impressed with our courage in opening school up on time. But he talked about the dividends that paid, because as they disaggregated the data, they saw that, our SOL scores, like everybody else, went down some last year, but they didn't go down nearly as much as other school divisions in the Commonwealth. As a matter of fact, if you look at state rankings as far as SOL testing alone goes, Bristol had the strongest climb of any school division in the Commonwealth. And I attribute, and I think, obviously our teachers did a phenomenal job.
The strongest what?
The strongest gains, the largest gains in state rankings. And so we are actually in the top third. We are in the only 15% of school divisions in the Commonwealth are as poor or poorer than we are. However, our SOL performance last year was in the top third. So despite the challenges that we have with, everything that comes along with serving a high poverty community, we beat those odds last year. And I think a lot of that, most of that was because of our teachers and the great work that they did in the classroom. But that would have never happened had our board not had the courage to move forward and open school in person in the beginning, and that really resonated. And he shared that. So anyway, I wanted to share that. I will also say that planning for this groundbreaking today, and with the late notice that the governor was going to be part of it, and then also them asking me to plan the roundtable discussion for the educators, I may be as least prepared for a board meeting as I've ever been. So I really hope that we brought Angel. See, we have Angel and Kathy here. We have 4 people over there to make sure that I stay on track with our board meeting. So I think I'm going to be fine. But anyway, it has been a very busy week preparing for this, and I'm thrilled for the work that we're going to do in the future.
All right. Comments? Any comments?
Yeah, I'll make a comment. I was kind of chilly on the whole deal about the school out there, but obviously that was our best option. But the real thing that really hit me while I was out there, and I think I felt the same spirit that the governor was talking about, but it was, the joy of bringing that over the finish line and knowing that we're going to have a level playing field for every child in town is, and you mentioned it as in your talk too, Randy. That to me is just extraordinary, and we can be very proud of that. And it's a great tool to run with and develop the future, because that's what the greatest asset of our town is, our children, and we're treating them well with this new school.
I'll say one thing. I can't even remember when I came on the board, 2017, I believe. So anyway, that was about the first we got started on. I got up to speed on the new school, and anyway, several years later, and we're still working on it, and there were several times I had my doubts, but we didn't give up, and took all of us to keep each other encouraged and each other's spirits and not get too down on it, you know, when we got knocked down or knocked back a notch. But so I'm like Mr. Goodpasture, it's good to pass the finish line.
It was a lovely event today, and I'd like to thank Stephanie and everyone else who helped her to put that on at that last-minute notice. It was really, I was telling her I thought we were going to be standing there with like some shovels, and maybe the governor would come, and it was just going to be the dirt in the park, and I didn't really expect anything beyond that. So it was a lovely event to have the community turn out and have our kids there, and just thank you to everyone who was there and has moved this project along. Thank you.
Well, it was a day we've been looking forward for a while. Without Mr. White here, I'm the senior member of this board as far as your service. And, as I said up there, almost from day one, a school had been talked about, in 2010. And I just see it to come all the way through and groundbreaking today has been quite the journey. As we talked about perseverance and staying with it, and no votes were just a delay. I think we felt as a board that this was the right thing for our students. How could it be wrong? In several meetings with councils, different councils through the years, it was, we need to wait, we need to wait, we need to wait, and what are we waiting on? I mean. It's been 25 years since they told us that we needed to get rid of Highland View, take it out of service. How much more could we wait? And, that was always my question. I mean, we have no money now. We've not had money before I got on the board. We didn't have money in the middle of the board. Everything's been a battle. We found a way to do it. We, every mark that was set for us to hit, that we would get approval, we met, and the mark moved. The mark moved and the mark moved. But every time they moved it, we found a way. And I appreciate Dr. Perigin and Tammy for endless hours of work in finding a way. And, the PPEA process has, from what I understand it, they have built government buildings before with that, but this is the first school that's been done in that process. And, I think one of our when we were looking to hire a superintendent, one of the things that we wanted, that we were looking for, was that up until that point, our system had been, we wanted to lead the Commonwealth in things that we did. We wanted the Commonwealth to look at Southwest Virginia. We wanted Richmond to look up to Southwest Virginia and see what we were doing, and we do that, and everything we do is done very good. It's done well, and the whole Commonwealth has taken notice. And, the way I see this is it's an encouragement to other school systems that's in our same situation. Monies are tight. In impoverished communities, monies are tight, but there's a way. And, I think that's my proudest accomplishment of this whole deal. There is a way. When students matter, when children matter, and the community puts that first, there is a way. So, I thank you all that worked in all that.
One thing I forgot to mention, maybe my favorite part of this morning was when the governor recognized our senior who could not be at graduation, handed him his diploma, and spent 2 or 3 minutes talking to the young man about his future. I mean, I love the ceremony, but the fact that the governor was willing to do that for that young man who had to miss his graduation, that was maybe my favorite part.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And this isn't political at all, but I've met, over the last 12 years, I've met every governor, that the Commonwealth has had, and they've all been nice gentlemen. But this governor, I would just like to sit and talk with him. I mean, he feels like Southwest Virginia when you talk to him. I mean, he really does. The others, I think they could care less about us, to be honest with you. But I I don't get that feeling from him. I think he cares about Southwest Virginia and the Commonwealth as a whole.
And let's don't forget about the bulldog. What's more tenacious than a bulldog? A bear cat.
There you go, that's right. I don't need any more nicknames, I get enough
Hey,
of my own.
is it true that you have a place to sleep over at WCYB?
You guys. With friends like this, who needs enemies?
All right. It's been a great day. It's been a really great day. All right, item 4A, discussion of safe return to school plan addition.
Ms. Denabriga? Dr. Denabriga, I'm sorry.
So, good evening. As part of the requirements from the state, we have to review our safe return to school plan and any changes that were made to it in the last 6 months. And so this is the addition that we made to the plan, which just includes, this happened in March when we took away the mask mandate. And so we just need to present it to at the school board and open it up for any open comment.
Any comments or questions, I guess? So this is something that just has to be on file for what we do is,
So we just have to have it on our agenda
Right.
for open comment and,
Okay.
and I guess it's made public, it's on our website.
Right. And we did put this before the public comment section because of the requirement to provide public comment. But the board's obviously always welcome to comment.
Okay.
But we did move the discussion items up before public comment so that folks could speak on this if they wanted to during public comment.
okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Looks good to me.
All right, item 4B, the International Baccalaureate presentation.
Mr. Rich.
Good evening. Tonight, as I share this presentation, I have written out a presentation. Typically, when I present, I speak extemporaneously, and I just have some points. But because there's so much to this, I'm going to be reading this presentation. And at the end of certain slides, I'll give you an opportunity if you have a question or if you'll just interrupt me, because some of the slides have a great deal of information in them. Some of them do not, but some of them do. Good evening, Chairman Alvis and members of the board. Tonight I will be presenting to you some of the challenges that are present in moving forward with the International Baccalaureate program. Most of this presentation centers around the ability to move forward successfully, participating in the dual enrollment program and the IB program at the same time. It is my hope to arm everyone with facts so we can move forward with confidence. Recently, Mr. Goodpasture, Dr. Perigin, Mr. Collins, and myself had the opportunity to attend one of VHCC's graduation ceremonies that featured many area high school students who earned a certificate or an associate's degree. It is with pride to know that Virginia High School boasted the largest number of students who earned one of these designations compared to all of the schools VHCC serves. The cost to students who take college classes during the regular school year are free. The school system pays the full cost of the college tuition, but the community college reimburses the division at a rate of 97% toward tuition costs. At a community college rate of $157 per credit hour, families save $9,891 if their child earns an associate's degree while in high school. A student who earns a one-year certificate will save $5,181. I wanted to offer a quick review of college costs in Virginia. Although the numbers in this chart may be too small to see, I want to zero in on the average cost of a four-year institution at $25,112. In analyzing the total cost for families if they pursue a bachelor's degree after earning an associate's degree or certificate, the savings are impressive. 2 years of college results in an average savings a little over $50,000, and 1 year yields a savings a little over $25,000. This is a copy of a slide that was shared when Lisa Dean and Joe Hutton presented back in April. Note that the cost savings for all dual enrollment classes at the community college level is $210,380. The cost savings is equivalent to $656,265 at Virginia Tech. I would like to share with you 4 similar slides back to back that represent the path that all 4 of our seniors who graduated with an associate's degree. Students who earn an associate's degree are given a guaranteed transfer to any public college in the state of Virginia. Students must earn 63 credits, which basically equates to 20 or 21 courses. Notice for this student, every class taken in their junior and senior year were devoted to dual enrollment. You may notice that many students started some of the DE classes in their sophomore year. It should be noted that students cannot begin too early taking DE classes, as there are prerequisites required for some classes, and the sophomore year have specific grade demands that are not dual enrollment, such as health and PE and 10th grade English. This slide represents Abigail's path toward earning an associate's degree. As with the last student, Abigail took a couple of summer classes to earn the associate's degree. Note that the path earning an associate's degree is very similar for the 4 students being highlighted tonight. For Kaylee, notice that she wanted to take Spanish 5 her senior year. This decision required her to take additional DE classes either in the summer or an additional virtual dual enrollment class during the course of the year. For Elijah, who also earned an associate's degree, he made a decision to continue pursuit of creative writing to his senior year. This decision had much to do with his desire to take the second class taught by Dr. Hurd. In an effort to get all DE classes toward his associate's degree, he took additional classes over the summer. In the next 2 slides, I want to highlight what it might look like for a student to take an IB course while at the same time earning an associate's degree. I'm sharing Kaylee's path as we are considering making Spanish 5 an IB standard level course. I will talk about this later, but it is important to understand the difference between a standard level IB course compared to a higher level IB course. A standard level course requires 150 hours of instruction and does not lead to college credit. Higher level courses require 240 hours of instruction, which equates to 2 blocks of instruction in 1 semester. Although every decision to take a non-DE class in the junior or senior year will require picking up an additional DE class over the summer to earn an associate's degree, it can be done. For this student, notice that he is taking a higher level dual enrollment English class that leads to IB credit. Since it is a higher level course, 2 blocks are needed to earn the IB credit. And so, can you go back to that one for a minute, Stephanie? I just want to speak to that. So, when we had a meeting with Virginia Highlands Community College and we had a conversation about particularly this class, this is English 111, students to earn a dual enrollment credit in English 111, they take 1 block of dual enrollment English and they earn that credit. To earn IB credit, higher level, it requires two blocks. And so what they agreed to was we could offer dual enrollment English the first semester, leaving out much of the IB curriculum, and then implementing an IB English, which is not dual enrollment, the second block.
Mr. Ritchie, I'll just add to that. I think everybody knows that, but our credit hours, a Carnegie unit for a high school credit is 180 hours. The number of hours for a college credit is actually less than 180 hours, but the number of hours for a higher level IB course is actually 240 hours. That's why they have to double block that class for the student to get that credit.
That's correct.
Are we in the question and answer period?
Sure.
If a student gets the two-year associate's degree, will that help him or her on admission to one of the three big schools in Virginia?
This is based upon conversation with Lisa Dean, school counselor at the high school, and she believes that any of our students who earned dual enrollment, and specifically if they have an associate's degree, that there are guaranteed transfers in place and that opportunity is present.
Transfer, I understand, they'll give the credit, but do they get into the school? Because William and Mary and University of Virginia, they have a ton of people
Sure.
trying to get in, and they can only let in so many, so they're very selective.
Sure.
And
we have
having a associate's degree is a good thing if you're getting into a school that's going to give you the credit, but you got to get into the school. And I'm wondering if having the associate's degree does it help in your admissions? I mean, they're looking at test scores and they're looking at
Sure.
the rigor of the curriculum that you've taken, and I'm just wondering how that all fits.
Well, I do know in years past when we have not necessarily had IB, we have had students get into William and Mary. We have a student this year who got into William and Mary, and we've had students get into University of Virginia. So I would believe that students can get into that program without IB. I think the question may become too.
Well, it's not a question you don't have to have IB to get into those schools.
Sure.
I'm just thinking, will the dual enrollment, is that a plus sign as far as those schools are, when they are
Well, I would
considering?
I would say at Virginia High School presently, it is expected that anyone who is pursuing William and Mary, those more elite colleges, that they have to be taking what the highest level courses are. So right now that would be dual enrollment. If we had IB, it might be IB.
Is dual enrollment as rigorous as AP?
I don't know if I would be the one to speak to that. I mean, Mr. Hutchinson might be able to, maybe Ms. Young. I don't know if I could speak to that.
It's on par? Dual enrollment and AP are on par? The appeal to that is dollars and cents to the parents.
Sure.
I'm talking about as far as education excellence. Is that what we're pursuing here, or we're going for a different goal?
Of the 4 students who got the associate's degree, they all got into their first choice school, whether it be Virginia Tech or University of Virginia or William and Mary. I couldn't tell you what those schools are, but I know that our 4 students who got the associate's degree all got into their first choice school. None of them got Williams.
But if somebody wanted to go to Georgetown or Princeton or Yale, that ain't going to count for anything, is it? I mean, you wouldn't get credit hours at a school that's not a Virginia State school?
Okay. Are we good to move on?
Yep.
Okay. IB and AP share more similarities than IB compared to dual enrollment. Higher level IB courses and AP courses toward college credit if a student scores high enough on a given test. It should be noted that colleges may have different requirements for the score and how it is counted. In one college, a 3 may count one way, but a 4 or 5 may be required somewhere else. What is appealing to students and parents is that any student who passes a course is awarded a dual enrollment credit. Students who take AP or an IB course may pass the course, but not earn college credit if they do not score high enough on the AP or IB assessment. And by the way, I just want to add, I'll wait on this. I'll add this comment later on. When IB was at Virginia High School approximately 11 years ago, only one dual enrollment course was offered at that time. More AP classes were offered, and AP allowed IB courses to be combined with them. A few years ago, a grant encouraged students to take AP classes. While the grant was in place, students and teachers were paid for pass rates on AP assessments. The grant was short-lived, and soon after, dual enrollment emerged. VHS is fully committed to pushing dual enrollment to all college-bound students. Currently, VHCC reimburses 97% of the cost of all DE classes. The school division absorbs the additional 3%, thus leaving students and their families with zero cost towards the college-level class. This slide shows the migration for most students to their commitment to dual enrollment. Using PowerSchool, it was easy to go back to 2018-19 school year to show the level of participation of AP. A couple of things to note in the table, and that is speaking of in-house. And so in-house represents those classes that are taught at Virginia High School. We have more virtual AP classes. Although we had 3 in-house AP classes this year, it could easily be debated that the low enrollment for those classes should not have even been offered. One major concern of a successful IB implementation centers around this graphic. In competition with dual enrollment, will students commit to IB in the same way that they have committed to AP? The current trend is that AP is slowly dying, which may lead to no AP in-house classes being offered in the future. For students to earn an IB diploma, this slide shows what a path for a student might look like. Although names of courses have not yet fully been established, 3 higher level IB courses and 3 standard level courses are required to earn an IB diploma. In addition to those 6 courses, students have 3 additional requirements, including theory of knowledge, extended essay, and creativity, activity, and service, also called CAS. This slide clearly shows that an IB diploma candidate can easily earn some DE credits. To earn a certificate from Virginia Highlands Community College, a student must earn between 30 and 33 credits. In this example, a student could earn 5 DE classes their junior and senior year and possibly 3 DE classes their sophomore year, which would total 24 credits. Thus, a student could earn some dual enrollment credits, but they could not earn a certificate or associate's degree if they commit to earning an IB diploma. So we surveyed the staff at the high school. This was an anonymous survey because we really wanted to know their thoughts on it. And in looking, and I wanted you to see the breakdown of the respondents to this survey. And so you can tell that core teachers, there were 22 who responded to the survey. And then there were 9 who did not really. They did not have an opinion. Next slide, please. This anonymous survey was given to teachers and administrators. It is evident if we move forward with IB that education about IB will be required with some of our staff, as some of them did not even have an opinion to cast a vote. 20 respondents expressed grave concerns about an IB implementation, and 7 were favorable when asked about IB implementation. It is clear that Virginia high schools work very hard to promote dual enrollment with families. It is an easy sale, as many of our own teachers teach the courses and families save a lot of money. Low income, middle income, and high income receive the same cost, nothing. We have diligently worked with VHCC to combine IB and DE courses. They really are unwilling to do so. They did agree to allow a combination class, but in truth, the first part of the course does not cover IB requirements. Only after the second semester of the class is introduced for those higher level IB courses does an IB credit take place. And so I want to present just a few questions to consider in moving forward. With the success of dual enrollment at VHS, can we have the same success implementing both DE and IB at the same time? Is it acceptable that we may have few IB diploma graduates? Low enrollment in IB classes may cause us to add more students in other classes or require us to hire additional teachers. Is this acceptable? In some cases, and maybe all, we may be able to pay a teacher to teach an additional section, for example, taking their planning period, and avoiding possibly having to hire an additional teacher or teachers. In complete transparency, I wanted to share the challenges we will face in moving forward with IB. We already have some teachers who have agreed to teach some courses. Our hope is to get them into training this summer. That will come with considerable costs, and we want to make sure that the IB direction is the right one for Bristol. I'm happy to address any questions you may have.
Any questions?
I have some comments, but I don't have any can y'all hear me out there? I can't hear myself. Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Is that better? Okay. I have some comments, but I don't have any questions, so if anybody has any questions, I can wait. I don't have any questions. I just have some comments,
Okay.
so I can wait if anybody else has questions. I just would say, and somebody motion at me if you can't hear me, but I did IB and AP in high school, and my husband also did. He did the full IB and got the diploma. I didn't. I was a slacker that just did a couple classes. But when we first were looking about moving to the area and we were trying to decide if we wanted to be in Bristol or Johnson City or Virginia, Tennessee side, that was when Virginia High was offering IB, and that was a huge selling point for us to want to move to the community because we both valued the program so much and the academic experience that we had, and we wanted our kids to be able to have that in the future, and we thought it really spoke well of the community that they offered and promoted such a great educational opportunity for their students. I just think from my personal experience, it was an excellent academic experience, opportunity. I was very well prepared for success at a four-year university. I do think, to your point, Mr. Goodpasture, it makes you a more attractive candidate, maybe, at some of the more elite schools, out-of-state schools. Now, that's not the path for all of our students, and that's okay, but for those that do want to have some of those out-of-state opportunities, I think that would be something that would make them stand out. So I would really favor looking at all solutions we can to try and implement this in our school system because I think it would really benefit our students.
It would be very hard to compete against dual enrollment with IB unless we can get the credit on the various schools in Virginia to recognize IB for what it is. And it is IB is based on liberal arts. It's a classic curriculum. And for the community colleges to be giving or get credit at the major schools in Virginia is that's a political move. It's not based on academics. And I think the going IB is a tougher slog for the student. And you know, it doesn't pay off in dollars and cents for the parents. So, you know, we're beating our head against the wall unless we can get the state of Virginia to recognize IB for the academic excellence that it represents and get credit at the major schools. But, and I don't know what it costs for us to train the teachers. It would be good to get our foot in the door. Maybe the suggestion was made earlier on before this meeting that we start IB in the middle school and bring those students up, and hopefully by the time they're headed to secondary school, that they would be able to get credit, you know, if we can push it through the legislature.
Well, you know, my comment is, you know, if we have participation, you know, I'm all in for IB, but when you look at that one slide, where in 18 and 19, we had that grant, and things were being paid, and nothing was going to have to be paid out of pocket. There were, what, less than 20 students that took advantage of that, and then when the money was gone, there were 7. You know, it is about money. I mean, it really is about money. But we can offer a great education with what we have, and giving our students and our parents a financial advantage when they do go hit college. I mean, the savings is there. You know, we have students we've had board members, student board members that have went to William and Mary. We have student board members that's went to UVA under the current process that we're doing. So something's working. You know, we're getting students in the universities that they want to. That's, for lack of a better word, the elite universities of Virginia. But, you know, how many students do we have that are actually doing that? You know, that's their goal, is to get into those universities. I mean, we have folks that have been successful doing that, and we will continue to have folks that are successful doing that with or without our IB program. And, you know, the DE program, it helps our community. I mean, we just broke ground on a school today, been 25 years getting, because we have no money in our community, you know, and that doesn't change because we're building a new school. We're still a impoverished community. And, you know, however we can help our parents and students that are going to be doing this on their own. You know, we got a lot of students that are, you know, if they're going to college, it's their own deal. It's not their, you know, they got to figure it out themselves. And what a way to get them 2 years of college on the front end free, you know, while they're part of our community. So those are my thoughts.
Can I just clarifying question? You do get college credit for your IB classes that you pass, your HL classes that you pass, right? Okay. Correct. Okay, okay. Right, correct. Right.
A couple things, Mr. Chairman, if I may add. I think if we decide that IB is the direction that we want to move forward and offer to our students, I think our board needs, I think the biggest thing that Mr. Ritchie wanted to share tonight is that, number one, it will cost us more money to do it, not just for the initial training, but for the additional sections, whether it's maybe hiring an additional teacher or paying teachers work additional sections. It's going to cost more money in an already tight budget. And I think what we're going to have to decide is that bang for the, are we getting our bang for the buck as we weigh out how we balance that budget with an increased cost versus what we have to spend it on. The other thing I think that we should potentially look at, we do a great job in our region. It'd be great for us just to offer this here in Bristol, but can we sustain that on our own, or should we look at maybe doing it in the same way that we do so many other things that we're successful with in Southwest Virginia, and try to find a way that we can do this as a region instead of just one school division? Those are just some of the thoughts that I had after I went through Mr. Ritchie's presentation.
I think that's a very, that's a very good idea. A regional IB program.
Or lab school.
Yeah, but you're going to have to be virtual, and that virtual stinks.
You get what you can afford, I guess.
I just want to say that one of the reasons I felt compelled to bring this presentation is, I think anything that we do, we want to do it well.
Right.
We don't want to get caught in a place if we have two situations. IB's a good thing, dual enrollment's a good thing, and we have to get into a place that we're trying to sell the parents that one is better than the other. And that's problematic. And, when we had a meeting here about a month ago at the high school, we realized that was going to be problematic for us. And that's why I tried to, I don't want to come off as biased. I just want you to know everything. So moving forward where, we have the knowledge and everything to do whatever we decide to do.
And we opened school during a global pandemic. We can do anything. There's no question we can do it, without a doubt. We just want to make sure that everybody knows what to expect on the front end.
Who do we know down at Salem High School? They've had IB for 40 years.
I know one of their administrators there. I'll give him a call and see what their numbers look like as well, and see how they make it work.
All right.
Any other comments, questions? All right. Let's move on to item 5A, public comment. I don't have any cards. Any comments or questions? Dr. Denabria presented the plan. Does anyone have any comments on that? The amendment to the plan? All right, here none, we'll move on. Item 6, the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or discussion? Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes.
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpasture,
Yes.
Albus,
Yes. All right, item 7A, approval of VSBA application workshop readiness award.
Mr. Ritchie?
I will be very brief. We applied for a VSBA Excellence in Workforce Readiness Award, and this application, actually, it was required to be brought before the board as an action item. I had a conversation with VSBA asking, knowing that we were not going to be able to get this brought before the board before the deadline. The deadline was, I think, May 30th. And I actually wrote on the application that we would be bringing this before the board in our June meeting, and they said that would be okay. This specifically centers around the Bearcat Bridge program, and highlighted at the back of this, and I would just like to quickly share these with you. These were the goals for Bearcat Bridge. I think it may be close to the last page. Stephanie, I'm sorry, I should have alerted you to that. Here they are. That may have been the ones just above that, Stephanie. Scroll back up just a little bit. Yeah. So anyhow, these are the highlights of the goals that we put forth, and then the things that have transpired. I will tell you that our Seal of Excellence is not where we want it to be. Instead of 50% graduating class, we actually had 12%. We know that's an area we have a great amount of work to do. We did have 45 career cafe events. We're actually pretty proud of that. The goal was 60, but we had 45 career cafe events that took place at the middle school and the high school. Our goal was to have 5 students participate in career launch in 2022, and we actually had 6 students who participated in career launch. Bearcat Bridge Advisory, their plan was to have 8 sessions, and we indeed did have 8 sessions. And one of our goals was to give away 1 car for careers to one of our career launch students, and we did do that. So we've applied for this workforce readiness grant or award, and we are asking permission to fully submit that to the VSBA.
Do I have a motion?
I make the motion that we fully submit it to the VSBA.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? I would just say I'm glad that we're doing that. I see all these different things year to year when we go to, of course, it's been 2 or 3 years since I've been to a conference, but I'm glad we can participate in that. Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes?
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpasture,
Yes.
Albus,
Yes. All right, item 7B, approval of USDA school nutrition procurement plan.
Ms. Hicks?
Good evening. USDA requires that school nutrition departments have a specific procurement plan that is actually part of the overall district plan, but it only applies to the school nutrition department. So I have submitted that for your approval. We have some regulations that are specific to school nutrition, such as the Buy American provision and other types of things. So that's all contained within the document that you should have received, and I'm just asking that that be approved, as we are required under federal regulations to have a procurement document updated. We currently have one, but it does not contain all the information that is now required, so this is the updated version, and will put us in compliance with the federal regulations.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the USDA school nutrition procurement plan?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion is second. Any questions? I would make comment, I just thank you and your staff for what y'all do for our students every day and through the summer as well. Thank you.
Thank you. It is a true passion to serve the students here in the school district, and I have a lot of very professional, trained, and loving people who are willing to work to feed those students.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Hicks.
you.
Ms. Hicks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
On the new school, did you have any input as to how the kitchen's going to be laid out?
I have total input, and I'm going to be like their worst nightmare to make sure it works the way it's supposed to. Because people sometimes design things that they have never worked in, and I have seen that across our region in some other new buildings that are my friends who are in the same position, my peers in other districts, and it can be a nightmare for the staff who have to work in those kitchens. So I'm going to make sure to do my very best to have the best setup for the staff that'll be working there for many years to come.
Good.
Ms. Jones?
Mr. Fletcher,
Yes?
Ms. Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Mr. Goodpasture,
Yes.
Mr. Albus.
Yes. All right, with that, we'll move into closed session. Fletcher, you want to read us in?
Pursuant to Section 2.23711A1 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following matters: discussion of certain personnel, recommendation for employment, approval of resignations, and retirements.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes?
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpasture,
Yes.
Albus.
Yes. All right. Thanks, everyone, for coming. We'll move to closed session.
about that?
There's more on here than I read.
Angel, yeah, there was a resignation that happened there a minute ago, and
Really?
Bristol, Virginia School Board certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting, and only such public matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were considered.
Second.
Motion is second. Ms. Jones?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Do we have a motion to approve attachment A?
I move we approve attachment A.
Do we have a second? Motion is second. Ms. Jones?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, old or new business? We discussed that.
We need, Mr. Alvis, we need to set a date to approve our final budget once
Oh,
the
yes.
governor approves it.
Yes. So we're looking at,
June 23rd as our first option.
yeah, June 23rd is our first option, and
June 28th is.
June 28th as a second.
I move we meet on the 23rd.
So the motion's been made to meet on the 23rd, as long as the state budget has been approved for a call meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll second with that amendment.
okay, so we got a motion and a second. Ms. Jones? Do we need to vote on that, or just, okay,
We'll just set.
okay.
Yes.
All right. Did y'all get that? Could y'all?
We'll do the
I don't know.
23rd if the budget's ready. If not, we'll do the 28th at probably 7 o'clock to give us time to get back from Blowing Rock.
Anything else? All right, meeting adjourned.
Randy.
Yes.
She'll give us some file, and I'm gonna send them out to everybody.
Okay.
I can't. Well, I told her we would like to get them as